Hello, I'm James Stewart, Sheriff of Anoka County, and welcome back to the Sheriff Show. On this episode, we have a variety of segments that we hope will again give you a better picture of what we've been up to as an office. We will dive in with area local law enforcement at the 2015 Anoka County Polar Bear Plunge. We'll take a look at the Sheriff's Office CODIS program. We'll take a look back at this year's Anoka County Reserve Academy graduation, talk with Bill Schimmelman about the Anoka County Sheriff's Office Chaplain Program. We'll get a look at the new Safety Boot Camp coming to Anoka County this summer. And finally, we will get an overview of one of our partners, the Alexandra House, with Megan Thornwall. Don't go away. The Sheriff Show starts now. Here at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, we are proud to stand next to Special Olympics Minnesota and partner with their annual Polar Bear Plunge. This year, we had a record 1,050 plungers participate and raised $206,000 for this great cause. Let's head out and take a peek into this year's Polar Bear Plunge.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Ann Blumel. I work for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, and we are out at the Anoka County Polar Bear Plunge today to benefit Special Olympics Minnesota. This is our 4th annual Special Olympics Plunge, one of about 20 that happen throughout the state every year in the winter time. And the Polar Bear Plunge is an event where we cut a hole through the ice, and then people pledge money to Special Olympics, and then they jump through the ice at a balmy 32 degrees, and then come emerging through the water and run up into a warm and heated tent to change. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office hosts this event, and we partner with several other law enforcement agencies throughout Anoka County, and also a lot of community partners that help to make this event possible. This year we have approximately 1,000 plungers and are on track to raise about $190,000 today in just one plunge. Our plunge starts at 1 o'clock and gets done within about an hour and a half. We move 1,000 bodies in and out throughout the event, and it's been a real privilege to be a part of the event. As the committee chair, it's been a real joy to be able to work collaboratively with a lot of different agencies through Anoka County, and to really just see the benefits that we can raise money and raise awareness for Special Olympics Minnesota to give those with intellectual disabilities an opportunity to participate in sports and classes and be a part of our community, to be accepted and included. And we feel really fortunate to have those partnerships here today. The Sheriff's Office has always been a partnership with Special Olympics Minnesota, whether that be doing the law enforcement torch run or the Polar Bear Plunge. About 4 years ago, we decided to try and bring the Polar Bear Plunge to Anoka County, and since then we've done it 4 years here at the Crooked Lake Park site, and has really just seen that event grow over the past years. Our numbers have exponentially exploded to great lengths, and it has made us really excited about our strides forward going forward from here, and to see where this will take us. Working with Special Olympics has been a really fantastic experience for all of us, and we've really changed and molded and built a lot of partnerships with those in our community that way. So next year for the Polar Bear Plunge, we will also be forming a team that will plunge today, and we also need volunteers for that event. So as the event nears, we always do it the last weekend in February. People can contact the Sheriff's Office to plunge, or they can go to plungemn.org and go under the Sheriff's team, which is the Sheriff's Posse is our team name, and they can sign up from there. We also host a fundraising event in January where we partner with Special Olympic athletes, and we do a bowling event at Andover Lanes. Really fun event. About 150 people show up. We do a silent auction, raffle, donations, all that stuff. So it's a really good time. You can get involved in that way if you don't want to jump in the water.
We have a strong team that comes together in a variety of ways to make the Polar Bear Plunge a success each year, and I thank each and every one of them. If you weren't able to join us this year, hopefully you could see the value and the fun involved and will join us next year. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show after this.
I'm Taylor Johnson, Mobile Production Coordinator here at QCTV, and we're out checking out the latest and greatest for QCTV at NAB Show 2015.
Recently, the Sheriff's Office began using a national database used for the storage and retrieval of DNA data. This tool is instrumental for us in either convicting or exonerating citizens connected to criminal activity inside of our county. Erin Moriarty from our DNA laboratory will share more with us about this new system.
My name is Erin Moriarty. I am the CODIS administrator at the Tri-County Regional Forensic Laboratory. I am also a forensic scientist in the DNA section of this laboratory. We are part of the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, and we service Anoka, Wright, and Sherburne counties. Within the DNA section, our job is to produce DNA profiles from evidence samples. What we do with these profiles, if they are suitable, they are allowed to go into what is called the Combined DNA Index System, otherwise known as CODIS database. This database stores profiles that are derived from forensic samples that either we know who deposited that sample or whose profile that was from, or they even are samples that we don't know where those profiles came from, where we're trying to identify who left that DNA profile behind. So our laboratory is what is known as a local DNA Index System laboratory. We only service 3 counties, so our profiles come from the cities or agencies within those 3 counties. The state of Minnesota is the State DNA Index System laboratory. Besides all of the profiles they generate from different agencies throughout the state, they also house the convicted offender samples, which are samples that are mandated by the law of people who have been convicted of a felony in this state to provide a DNA sample for searching against. So when we have an unidentified profile, it would get searched in this database against not only forensic profiles or unidentified or known DNA profiles from evidence, but to try to identify if anybody who's once a convicted offender, their profile could match as well, which would provide investigative information to an agency. Within CODIS, there is the next level up is the national DNA database level. This level allows different states to connect their DNA profiles to one another. So if I have an unidentified profile from our laboratory and we search it at the national DNA database level, it could hit to somebody in Texas that is in the Texas laboratory. And it just allows a way to share DNA information to try to give any sort of information to different agencies. CODIS was established in 2008 for the national level, or excuse me, in 1998 for the national level. And for our laboratory, we were able to join into the CODIS network or become an NDIS participating laboratory in 2014. And this past year, actually last month, is when our system became fully operational. And since then, since our participation was allowed, we have actually generated 53 different investigative informations for our agency. So we've provided them with either a name of a DNA profile or given them some information on other cases that might have connected. So even in our short time, we've already been able to provide information to our counties that we service. Nationally, as of February, there have been, I think it's 260,000 information aided. So throughout the whole country, 260,000 cases have had information given because of this database. Currently at the national level, there are over 14 million profiles. At the state level, there are 140,000, and in our level, since we're relatively new, we only have around 170. So the profiles that we can have in there. So we're small, but we're developing profiles that are going to be getting searched and getting names hit. So it's a very valuable tool that this laboratory now has and can help provide our counties with at least some information, whereas they may not have had any before.
We have certainly learned the value of DNA in criminal investigations in recent years, and it is always our goal to serve our citizens and stop criminals from victimizing again. As you have learned, CODIS is one more effective tool in the tool shed of our justice system. We'll be back with more of The Sheriff Show after this.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
The Reserve Unit at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office is instrumental in helping us effectively serve our community. This is a volunteer unit of citizens who want to invest their time to make positive impacts in their community. Every year, new Reserve deputies undergo rigorous training to prepare them to become a Reserve deputy across Anoka County. Annually, we hold a Reserve Academy graduation to congratulate the achievement of these new Reserve officers and deputies. This year's graduation was held at the Coon Rapids Civic Center. Let's head out with Lieutenant Wayne Heath to talk to us more about this year's event.
Good afternoon. Today we're at the 2015 Anoka County Law Enforcement Reserve Academy graduation. My name is Wayne Heath. I'm a lieutenant with the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, and I would like to give you just a little bit of information about what it took for these new reserve officers, park rangers, and reserve deputies to graduate from their training. They attended trainings regarding legal issues, radio usage, directed patrol, community-oriented policing, first aid essentials, traffic control, occupational safety, use of force, crime scene security, and canine operations. And how this all ties together is ultimately each agency uses their reserve officers in a different manner. But most agencies use their reserve officers for some general patrol work, traffic control, as I mentioned, crime scene security, doing some transports of either prisoners to jail or transporting other parties involved in incidents to other areas where we don't need to tie up an officer, transporting them, assisting the public with other types of calls, be it vehicle lockouts or stalled vehicle type situations, but other calls for service that are not a public safety type incident, but more of a public service incident. We try to utilize reserve officers for those types of calls as well. And one of the other big keys that these reserve officers are for each agencies and the role that they fulfill is to assist the sworn law enforcement in the execution of their duties. There's many times when we need reserve officers to help supplement, just to give us the number of bodies we need to conduct field searches or like I had mentioned before, maintaining perimeters. And really it comes down to any other type of activity that we could find a use for them. Those reserve officers step into that role for us.
The new members will now join the existing team of reserves to partner with our office in service to you. Thank you to every one of the members of our reserve unit for for your commitment to service and to putting others first. The investment of your time and talent does make a difference. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Allison is my friend. We met in school when we were younger and grew up together. We did everything together. Then one day something happened, and people started to tease her, being really mean. At first she would pretend it was no big deal, that it didn't hurt her. But after a while it started to get to her. Her grades started to slip, and she used to be such an awesome student. Then she stopped talking to everyone, even me. Now she's not around anymore, and I miss her so much. Allison was my friend.
Our deputies, unfortunately, have as a part of their role the need to respond to incidents that result in the injury or loss of a family's loved one. These are never easy times for anyone involved. Our chaplain unit is critical in partnering alongside our deputies in order to provide comfort and direction to these families in their time of grief. Chaplain Bill Schimmelman will talk to us more about the Sheriff's Office Chaplain Program.
Hi, I'm Bill Schimmelman. I'm one of the chaplains with the Anoka County Sheriff's Department. I'd like to give you an overview of what we do. We work very closely with the dispatchers. They are the ones that our first contact is. It's rare that a deputy or an officer will call. And what we do then is we report to the scene, talk to that officer to find out what the particulars are before we go into the house or at the scene. Our main function is to give aid and comfort to the victim's family, to go over what they need to know to set their minds at ease, and we interface with the coroner and the officers on things, but we generally try to keep the family away from that particular scene to make sure that the officers and the coroner can do their work without disturbing the family members. We help them go through what they need to do as far as eating and so on, because people tend to forget everything in a time of grief. We have them put together a list of people to call, and we tell them the steps that they need to do next. Before I leave, we also find out how their needs are in a religious mode, and if need be, I pray with them and go over some of the spiritual items that they need to know that they've never experienced. And when I leave, I've usually got another family member that is on the way or is there to help with the family. So to bullet point that, we give kind of an order to what's going on so that it's not a chaotic thing, so they know what's happening. Second, I make sure that their health needs, we go over that to make sure that they're eating. If they've got any medication, don't forget to take this. And then I go over with them what happens to their loved one after the coroner transports the body. So we go over what needs to be done and the order that they need to do it. You'll find that the officers are just incredible on how they treat these delicate situations, and it's a pleasure to be able to work with them and help take some of that burden away from them and give the family something to think about.
Like the Reserve Unit, our chaplains are all volunteer members. Our chaplains see the value in serving others as they strive to ease the pain, support the families, and provide hope during challenging times. Their service is greatly appreciated. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show after this.
I eat healthy enough most days. I don't need to exercise, right?
False. Less than 5% of adults participate in at least 30 minutes of physical activity each day.
I don't have time to exercise.
False. The average American watches over 5 hours of TV a day. Plenty of time to hit the gym.
I walked to class today. That's enough exercise, right?
False. With at least 20 minutes a day, exercise is known to boost energy, reduce your risk of disease, and give yourself an overall better mood during the day. You're always going to have an excuse to not exercise, but why let that get in the way? Get off the couch, get outside, and have fun.
The Anoka County Sheriff's Office has proudly hosted a safety camp for youth for many years. This year, we will be holding a new summer camp for 4th and 5th graders at the Andover Community Center. This camp will teach kids the proper ways to stay safe in a variety of different situations. Here's the crime prevention specialist, Missy Reeder, with more details on this year's safety boot camp and how you can get involved.
I'm Melissa Reeder and I work in the crime prevention unit at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. We are doing things a little differently this year and will not have a 2-day safety camp, but a 1-day safety boot camp. The camp will be held at the Andover Community Center on June 18th from 7:45 a.m. to 5 p.m. The camp will consist of 100 4th and 5th grade campers and will be filled on a first-come basis. The registration fee is $30 and you can register online at the Andover Community Center. On May 4th, a flyer will also be distributed at the Andover Elementary Schools. During Safety Boot Camp, the kids will be learning about and doing bike, pedestrian, and vehicle safety, a bike safety course, persevering when things get bad, campfire and fireworks, peer pressure, goal achievement, bullies and bystanders, bus safety and evacuation, water safety, obstacle agility course, be aware, be alert, be safe. The overall focus will be on good choices. The counselors will consist of deputies and firefighters. We are very excited about this full day of learning and fun.
I am a firm believer in the value of crime prevention and programs that invest in our youth. Our safety boot camp combines those values as the Anoka County Sheriff's Office team makes an investment into our collective future. So don't touch that remote. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future.
My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
The Alexandra House is one of our partners which assists our citizens across Anoka County who may be dealing with an abusive situation. Their team assists in many various aspects in helping to identify and help people through any abusive situation that an individual may be going through. We are proud to support this organization in helping to stop domestic and sexual violence across Anoka County. Now, Megan Thornwall has more information on the Alexandra House.
My name is Megan Thornwall. I am a legal advocate with the Alexandra House, which is an agency that serves the entire Anoka County, and we serve victims of domestic and sexual violence. I'm talking today about the Lethality Assessment Program, which is something specific to our county, and it's something that was started in the fall of 2010 in response to the high level of domestic homicides we had in our county. From 2006 to 2011, we had 11 different deaths by intimate partners. So the Anoka County Sheriff's Department, the Anoka County Prosecutor's Office, and our agency, along with corrections, all met together and created what is now known as the Lethality Assessment Project. Basically, we wanted to implement some sort of screening process so that when law enforcement respond to a scene, they're able to talk with the victim about the past, so about what's happened in their relationship. When they do that, and we're following the Maryland model, so the Maryland model was something that was created and has been researched to show that when victims answer yes to certain questions, they are actually at a high risk of being severely injured or killed by their partner. We researched a bunch of different tools and found this was the best one to use for Anoka County. So we had officers through every small police department and Anoka County Sheriff's Department all agree to, when they arrive on the scene for domestic cases, after they're done talking and gathering evidence, they do this screening. When victims screen in as high risk, they're connected from the scene to our shelter, which has the 24-hour crisis line. I'm the advocate that responds to any kind of Anoka County Sheriff's Department call, and usually it's about the next day. We talk to them about what's going to happen from the criminal case, if they're needing any kind of civil orders, like an order for protection, anything like that, and what's going to be happening from the case on. Our partnership with Anoka County Sheriff's Department is extremely important because I have just completed some training. I did 8 different sessions out there with all of the officers that are out working with the victims about their response and domestic violence. One of the really important things that we did through this training was talking about safety planning. That's the main goal of the advocate, is talking about what's best for the victim. But we were able to talk to the officers about, if the victim doesn't want to talk to us, which sometimes happens, what can they do, especially on like those gone on arrivals where the perpetrator may have left and now the victim is home and scared. And so that was really exciting that the officers wanted to learn that and have been implementing that and been able to give the victim some options for their safety. And something that we stress through those trainings too is that when we have these officers that are trained in domestic violence and they are understanding and they are taking the time to ask these questions and letting the victim know that they're concerned for their safety, it is something that is substantial for that victim. When they're able to hear an officer who they know has seen everything on the streets tell them that they're concerned, it really does hit home with them. And so what I've learned is that when we have an officer, a judge, a prosecutor, and an advocate all letting the victim know that there's some safety concerns, they're generally open to talking about how to improve their safety. And over the past year, we've just had some great experiences with victims that are wanting to continue services with us. So in Anoka County, from the Sheriff's Department, we had 60 different screens done from domestic related incidences. 44 of those screened in high risk. That's 75%. That's a substantial amount of victims that they're contacting that are in a high level of danger of being significantly injured or killed by their partner. So the main reason we want to do this kind of connection is to hold the abusers responsible. There's programs that were created because of this program. One is called IDAP, which is an intensive domestic abuse pretrial program, where these high-risk offenders are actually monitored on a different level if the court orders it. That's helping keep the community safe and helping keep the victim safe. We also have an expedited court process now, which means that the victims aren't waiting a very long time, months and months, for their cases to go through. The cases have to be set a certain amount of time out, and so the victims don't have to wait through this court process, lose faith in the court process. So it's basically a collaboration for all of us, the advocates, law enforcement, prosecuting office, to create the support system. And it's this coordinated response that the victims are able to feel safe and believed and know that the next time they call, they're going to have a positive experience because of what happened this first time. So as an advocate, it's really exciting for me to be able to do these trainings and to be able to work with officers that want to know about domestic violence, want to understand it, and want to create a safety plan with these victims, because it's the most important thing we can do as advocates. And so it's really exciting to see that someone else wants to help them as well.
We've been partners with the Alexandra House for many years, and I value their programs, their team, and their success stories very much. They are one more partnership that proves when we all work together, we can make a difference. Before we go, now that the sun is out and people are back outside enjoying the nice weather, I want to urge everyone to use caution while out on the roadways. It only takes a second of not paying attention to end someone's fun in the sun. So please, put down the phone, pay attention, and stay safe. Thank you for watching this episode of The Sheriff Show.